Here we go. Beautiful. Okay, so can you guys see my screen? Beautiful. I'm going to be looking on just to see if anybody else pops in that's supposed to be coming in. Thank you for coming. Hope you guys are all good. And I know it's always really busy. Everyone's always busy. So to give any part of your time up, I really appreciate and value. So thank you very much. Some of you I know, some of you I don't know, but if you have any questions, I'm so informal, just jump off to just bring your mic on and ask a question, because we are a small group, we can do that, which is cool. If you've got to work, that's totally cool too. I understand. I've done many a webinar where I've had to just work at the same time. So that's cool. So today we're talking about embracing or fearing. So many people, I went to a talk the other day, a guy who was the town planner and mayor from Adelaide, and he is a futurist. He spoke all about AI, which really stimulated part of this conversation, what I want to have today. And he said, we can either, as humans, we can either embrace it or fear it. And I sort of thought, wow, that's a great title for any kind of presentation, because I find that most people embrace or fear everything in life. And particularly when it comes to the big topics of what I talk about for my work is personal branding. I'm incredibly passionate about that. I think if you've been following me for a while, you'll, hey, David, how are you? I haven't seen you in ages. Nice to see you. People, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm really big on personal branding. I believe that that is the future. It's not the future, it's the present, but it really is the future. And this futurist spoke about that in great detail too. He said, the difference between us and machines is that they are the artificial intelligence and we are the emotional intelligence. And I'm not 100%, I know what David and Melinda do. I'm not sure what you do, Nina, in your business, but we are all going to be challenged, myself included. I already am getting challenged with AI. We're going to be challenged with having our jobs and our skills replaced by a machine. The thing is, and this is what he greatly encourages, is that we view this as a tool. We don't view this as something that's going to take over our life. It's kind of like when I started out 30 years ago, I started out as a graphic designer. Computers had only just barely come in. And there were the graphic designers that were old school, used the drawing boards, did everything, marked everything up by hand, beautiful presentation skills, amazing illustrators, refused. They didn't see that computers were going to take over. And like, it sounds like a stupid comment to say now, 25 years on, but this is the conversation that was being had back then. And those graphic designers very quickly lost their jobs. They were replaced because they didn't view they viewed the computer as a foe, not as a tool that they could use and just be as good at their jobs, if not better. And that's exactly what AI is like. So I'm going to run through and just show you afterwards, after I run through like the personal branding part, I will show you Chat GPT. I don't know if you guys have used it. Has anybody used it? Perfect. Great. Okay. It doesn't make me boring. I've used it a tiny bit. It's actually really great. It's unreal. It just makes us better and faster. It's not going to replace anybody. And you'll see that when I show it to you. It's very clever and sophisticated how it can generate blog posts and do a lot of good content writing for you. But it's not you. It's not the emotional intelligence, and it's certainly not the essence of who you are. And nobody is going to fall in love with the written word that much that they're going to replace a good copywriter or a good marketer anytime soon. So I just want to put your minds at ease about that. Same with your industries. Like Mel, you're a bookkeeper. You will be severely challenged with AI but you have to look at it as a tool. It will come in and it will be able to do your job, but what it won't be able to do is what people come to you for now already. And I know you personally. You're a very hands-on person. You're very warm. You're very nurturing. You're very caring. And every client of yours, I'm sure, has become a friend. And they are, at least, if not like a great friend, they're a friend in business. And same with you, David. I know the service that you do with travel. It's a service that you are providing. And a machine can't replace that. It can do your job, but it's the what you bring to that, the essence of who you are, and all of those years of experience and vast knowledge. A machine can't tap into that and communicate that to another human being in the way that it wants to be communicated to. The person wants to be communicated to, because we're people. People deal with people. We buy from people. We respond to people. You could have read any information I give you right now today. You could Google it or go to Chat GPT, search it, find it, read it, and know it. But you're not engaging with a machine like that. You still want somebody like me, who you obviously get some kind of good vibe from, to learn this stuff from and to connect, ask the questions, go deeper, and have that kind of human connection. That is, in a nutshell, why we should embrace the AI and not fear it, and just and be at the front of our industries as well, and lead other people, because there's so much fear already about it. People feel like they're being replaced, and they're very, very hesitant about it. There's a lot of negativity around it. So you want to be the person that embraces it and brings your customers on the journey of how to utilize it the best. All right, so that's a heap about AI. That's not what the whole thing about this is about, because that's only one teeny tiny part of the whole experience. All right, so we're going to talk about personal branding. Who is intimidated by personal branding? No. Yes. Nina nodded. Who's not intimidated by personal branding? Most people are intimidated. Who wants me to explain what personal branding is, really? It's basically when we put ourselves at the forefront of our business and our industry, and we speak up, show up, and we have a voice, and we don't hide behind our company brand, and we create content, and we really show people the essence of who we are. I do it all the time. I love personal branding. I am an extroverted person, so it does help. It makes it easier. But I am also a person that's very passionate about what it is that I do. And that makes it a whole lot easier and gives me a lot of confidence to be able to stand up and present and talk to people, because I actually really do care about my clients, and I really do have a lot of information and knowledge that I want to share. And I just find the best way for me to do that is to do that through my own voice and communicate like that. So that's personal branding. And you guys are already doing it. I know. I don't know you, Nina, but just because you're here, I know that you're probably already doing it. I know you, David. I know you, Mel. You guys are very there for your clients. It's just that you now need to be very there for your potential clients, because you're not going to get more clients if you are the best kept secret in your industry. And so many good people are. I can guarantee you, probably the best people in your industry, which is probably you guys, you are the best kept secret, because only a small circle know you. And the people that do know you love you. Does that sound familiar? You're relating to that? Yeah, I know. The people that know you do love you, and you get referred on, and you get your trickle of clients that way, and it's all very warm and fuzzy. But you could be doing so much more for a greater, bigger, wider audience, and helping. This is the way I like to look at it, helping so many more people. So my question to you today is, do you want to start being the leader that you truly are and earn the income that you truly deserve? Because if so, you want to probably be the rock star of your industry. And I know when I say rock star to people, they kind of go, oh God, that's a wank. It's not. All it really means is that, do you want to be thought of as a rock star to your clients? Because I can guarantee that your clients already probably think you are a rock star, and they probably tell you that, and you're probably comfortable with that because you know you've proven yourself. But it's bringing that essence out to a whole new potential audience. That's how you want to be the rock star of your industry, and that's what I want to try and show you a bit of today. And also at the end, I will shamelessly plug my personal branding online course that I have going. I will do that at the end. I'm just being totally upfront about it, but I'll explain to you why at the end. You don't have to buy in, you can just listen. It's totally cool. Because I believe in attraction. I believe there's in abundance. I believe there's plenty of clients for everybody. And I believe that we're all brought to each other for a reason. We attract and manifest what we are. We don't attract or manifest what we want. And this is a big thing with the law of attraction. I'm quite woo-woo. People think that if you just want something hard enough, you'll get it. And that's not the case. You attract things with energy if you are essentially what you are wanting. So you actually have to be and become and act as if before you will get the things that you want. So in what I'm talking about with personal branding, if there's a particular type of client that you want, a particular demographic of people that you want to try and attract, you have to become what it is that you essentially have to be to attract them before that they are attracted to you. One doesn't go before the other. So that's why it's so important to work on your personal brand, work on your confidence, understand who you are. And we're going to do that exercise afterwards about understanding your purpose. And we can talk about values as well, because when you really tune into that and tap into that, that actually might even give you some insight into the type of clients you should be trying to attract, because you might be doing it. This happens to me a lot, actually. I do work with clients, and they think they want one particular type of client, but they're actually deeply going against who they are in themselves. And there's another type of client that they really could be working with. So for me, I work with a lot of people that, well, I'm in a lot of groups because I'm female. There's a lot of female-centric groups out there. And I don't particularly actually like being in those groups because I believe that I work really well with, I have just as many male clients as female clients. And so but it was interesting because one of the mentors in the female only group actually said that to me. She said, I'm one of the only females she knows that works with a lot of males. So it's just really interesting. I consciously have a masculine energy, a feminine energy, but a masculine energy. And then I attract that energy to me too. So probably enough about that. It's getting a little bit woo-woo, but it's really good when you're thinking about your target audience. You think, well, who am I attracting? Who is my demographic? And what am I being to attract that person? And do I need to change that if I actually want to be attracting more of this type of person? Because a lot of people aren't in love with their clients. And if you aren't happy with who your customers are, you really should be looking at your personal brand and what message are you putting out there, and are you putting out the wrong message? So I've done a lot of soul searching this past year. I've been in marketing, graphic design, build websites. I've done a lot of this work, but I really thought, what is it that I do? What's my sweet spot that I do for people? And it's definitely that I am into connection marketing, which is all about personal branding, but I also work with clients now in the space of giving them confidence and self-belief, because I realized that I was creating a lot of marketing strategies for people and doing a lot of work for people, and then they weren't implementing it because there's something missing. There's a great miss, and it usually has a lot to do with their self-belief or their self-worth or their confidence. And so that's what we also work on now when you work with us in a coaching space. And a lot of my presentations in this webinar, I will always be injecting little confidence boosting type ideas and how to get more confidence, because I recognize that's actually what's stopping people doing their marketing, and why people get uncomfortable when I sort of say to them, yay, we're going to do personal branding. You need to go out and make a video now. You need to have your own podcast to be seen as an expert in your industry. And they'll come up with a million reasons why they can't, which is, I'm too busy. My kids need me right now. It's just not a really great time for me. My clients need me right now. I'm working on all these super important projects. But really what it boils down to is you can make time for anything in your life if you think it's important enough. And if you have any kind of resistance to it whatsoever, you will let busyness or any of these other excuses get in your way. We even have clients who will put off having a photo shoot or making video because they want to lose 5 kilos. I'm just like, seriously, like, just, wear something flattering. You don't let that stop you growing your business because you want to lose 5 kilos. Like that's just an excuse and it generally is that they just don't feel secure about, and it's not about their looks. It's got nothing to do with that. It's actually about being seen and heard in their industry. And we have this thing, I'm sure we all have heard of it because we're all Australian here, the tall poppy syndrome. It's real. It's a real syndrome, isn't it? And it really holds us back. It makes people really go inward rather than be external. Like if we were having this conversation in America, most American audiences would be just so, what are you talking about? Yeah, personal branding is great. I put myself out there, I'll dance around and make TikToks all day long for my business if that's what I've got to do. And they just have this beautiful, I'm not embarrassed of myself, or, there's no shame around what they're doing. And it's the way we've been brought up in Australia. There's so much pre-programming, so much shit in the back of our subconscious that is stopping us from showing up and making video and doing all the things. Does this relate to people? Like, do you guys feel that this is something that is real for you? Are you intimidated to put yourself out there? You can put your hands up or nod or whatever you want to do. Yeah, exactly. And you're all really nice looking, presentable looking people. I know you can speak well. I'm assuming you're good at what you do, Nina. I reckon you are because you're here. So can you tell us actually what you do, Nina? Because I don't know you.
Hello.
Hi.
So I'm a personal trainer and a remedial massage therapist.
Perfect. Good. Now I can talk to that. I should have asked you at the beginning. Sorry.
I am hands-on, but at the same time, there's plenty of things that I could be doing in the background and getting myself out there. Just exactly what you said before. I'm confident to share with, my audience that I've already got, but to put myself out there in front of other people that I haven't proved myself to, I don't.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for articulating that. That's so awesome. Fantastic. And Melinda, just so you guys know, Melinda's got a bookkeeping business, and David, you're still in Forward Travel, the travel business? Beautiful. And his target audience are you still working with kind of like that higher end, sort of more elite kind of business? Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. I'll keep going because I don't want to like kill all your time. And I've got lots of good stuff I want to give you guys. If you do have a question, something that's really pertaining to you, because we are only a small group, please ask. I would love that. That would be so awesome. So those of you that do know me, you know that I have 3 sons, 3 adult sons, and that's been for the biggest part, like a lot of people run their businesses for their family life, for their freedom, for their kids. You know, I've been the main income earner since day dot. I know you have been too, Mel. It is really important, but you know, they're grown up now. Look at the size of them. They're gigantic. They don't need me. I turned 50 last year, and 50, 18 months ago, I had a little bit of a mini meltdown. Who the hell am I? Did a whole lot of, you know, searching. It's like, well, if I'm not a mother anymore, and I am a mother, but if I'm not a, you know, like a mother with dependents, who the hell am I? What am I doing all of this for? And I realized I have a much bigger picture. I did a really wonderful values exercise on myself, which I could lead you guys through at some point if you want to. I really tapped into my subconscious and understood actually what I'm all about is doing stuff with clients that's life-changing. And I would suggest that a lot of that's sort of like motivates most people, I think, is we want to actually have an impact on people. We do actually want to see the very best for our clients, and we want to help, and we sincerely want to leave people with better than when they first came to us. And we want to, you know, in your case, David, with the travel in particular, some of the people's best memories and best moments in life are some of the experiences you take people on with these incredible travel experiences. And it's not just about, oh, this is, you know, a beautiful view or anything. It's life-changing. People really get to meet themselves on these trips. And this is the essence. You know, I'm sure you do this with your work, Nina. You change lives, you know, when you can make people who are not mobile become mobile. I imagine there's a whole lot of other things you do for people, give them back who they used to be in their health. Like that's monumental. And Mel, like working with people on their books, particularly when they're probably a scrambled mess, and they perhaps, some people I know, until they get their books sorted out, like their cash flow is crippling them. I mean, there's all the terrible issues that come with that, and it slows them down for growth. Like there's all these things that you guys could be from your heart, your why, which is what people connect with. So when you have a personal brand, this is the conversations that you need to be talking to people about, is the transformation promise that you have for your clients after working with you or during the process of working with you. We get really caught up in telling them what we do. You know, so me, oh, I've got a marketing agency. I can build your website. I can do your logo. I can take your photos. I can help you. I can coach you with a video. You know, it's all the features and benefits. It's the what. But why? Why would you even do that with me? And I'm going to share with you really shortly a case study on how this whole changing lives things for me became so relevant when I realized what it can do to clients' lives. And that's why I do what I do, in actual fact, is the impact that I have on people's lives. And it's long lasting. With one guy, the way his business has changed, and I'll share with him shortly, it's a generational wealth that he has now created. It's incredible. So life-changing for him. So they're my values, and I greatly suggest that you do a values exercise and find out what your values are and put them on your website and talk to your audience about them and drop these words into your marketing all the time about it's the essence of who you are. You know, you always hear me talking about, you know, the life-changing, the inspiration, the connection. It's totally authentic. The way I present, the way that I speak, the way I do things, I try to live every day as authentically as I can. You know, freedom is really about what I can give clients when they're mastering their personal branding. It's one of the best things you can actually get from when you master your personal branding, is that you now have a much wider, larger audience that you can go to. And so often it can be a global audience because of the reach that you have. That gives you so much freedom. Work from anywhere you want, create whatever you want, earn the income that you want. You know, it's really up to you. It brings so much freedom when you are running your business, break free of all the traditional stereotypes of running a business and actually run an online business with your online brand. It's incredible the scope that has. And abundance, you know, I mentioned that before about the law of attraction, the law of abundance. When you have, for me, it's all about giving and generosity. And I think when you have a personal brand, that is very much how your personal brand can work for you. If you have this notion of giving with your content and giving with your information, the law of reciprocity is that it will always come back to you. Comes back to you in clients, comes back to you in referrals, comes back to you in goodness, comes back to you in love energy. Now, people laugh when I say that's a value of mine, but I think that's what we all want, isn't it? We want the people that we work with to love us, to look after us, to nurture us, to have good energy. You know, Nina, when you're working on people's bodies, there's a little bit of love energy that goes into that, and it's from the heart. It's not, anything kind of weird. It's a caring and a nurturing, and I give a shit about you, my client. I care about you, and it's really important that we communicate. You understand what your values are. I share with you what mine are, because it makes it really easy. And usually I attract people who've got very similar values to me, and that's just kind of the way it is. But if you have your values right out there and you live and breathe by them, you will attract people to you who have the same values, and then life becomes really nice. Becomes really nice when you've got clients who get you and understand you. And that's also what you can achieve with your personal branding. It just that, and this just doesn't go for the warm, fuzzy industries either. Like, I have a lot of clients would you believe it, in insolvency at the moment. Like, I have trouble even saying the word insolvency, because it means, people are going bankrupt, people are losing their business. It's a really tough industry. And I love working with these people, because these people actually really deeply care. It's an industry that comes across as being so uncaring and so cold and calculating, and just cutting and carving businesses up and closing them down. But in actual fact, the biggest thing that I didn't know about insolvency until I started working with these clients is that they have a whole part of their business which is about rebuilding businesses and getting investors back into it and rejuvenating them, if you come to them early enough. So, that's my recommendation for them to talk about that. So if you've got stumbling blocks in your business, it's really important that you address what those stumbling blocks are, and then show how you are the answer to that, and you can get past that. Because I talk about this a lot. If you've been watching my live videos this week, your client is here. They have a pain point, and whatever that is pertaining to your industry, something that they are struggling with. With you, Mel, it's probably their pain point is cash flow, for instance. I dare say that's often what it's going to be when you're a bookkeeper. They can't manage their money. They don't know how much, they know how much is coming in, but they don't know how to manage it, and where it's all going out, and spitting it all out and making it work for them. And here's Mel over here on this side of it. She's got all the skills on the planet, and she can promise them that I'll have your books turn around in no time. Yes, I can see where all the leaks are. I can clog up all those leaks. I can do all these things. She lists them all out nicely. But in the middle, there's this thing called the messy middle. And that's all the self-limiting beliefs and all the doubts the clients got. And this thing, the nagging in them, which is nearly what every one of our clients has got, is, are you the person that can actually do this for me? Because I've heard this all before. Don't forget, your clients are intelligent. Your potential clients are intelligent. I've heard this all before. Why is Mel the bookkeeper for me? Why is she different to everybody else? And that's the bit, that's the magic, that bit in there. If you can work out how you can make that client believe how you are for them, that is when you start to nail your personal branding. Because people, yes, they can get a sense of you and know and like you when you do video and give them free content, and they're like, oh, this chick really knows her stuff. But it's that deeper inner kind of connection that you have with somebody once you've been creating a lot of content and they're having more and more engagements with you, where they actually start to trust you, and they're like, yeah, she is the one for me. When I'm ready to take that leap, I'm going to choose that person. I find this a lot with accountants. I have a lot of accountant clients. They're so generic. How generic is accounting? They all promise great profit. They all promise compliance. They all promise, oh, we look after your books. Like, it's just the most boring message on the planet. So I have a client actually who is an accountant, and we sat down one day, and he was a personal one-on-one. I was coaching him one-on-one, and we've gone through all the pain points of his clients. And I just said, Nathan, what makes you different to everybody else? And he's going through all these, we work on their tax, and we do, coming up with all these really high level, boring, non-emotional responses. And I'm like, Nathan, every accountant says that. What makes you different to every other accountant? And he put down his pen or whatever he was doing, and he just looked at me and he goes, and that's when I knew he was went into his, like, who he really is. And he said, we just really give a shit about our clients. And I just love the way he said it. And I said, well, there's your tagline, because he's the kind of guy that could deliver that tagline. And from that day forward, that has been his tagline. And we put it on every bit of marketing. We give a shit about our clients. And it's been incredible, because he's now standing out in a sea of boring, faceless accountants who are all peddling the same message. And they're all very professional. They're all wearing really lovely suits, and they're all very formal. But he's trying to appeal to business owners with heart and soul, family business owners and entrepreneurs that go to the big city firms and get ignored. They really want to go to an accountant who cares about them and speaks in layman's terms. So that is why I talk so much. why I talk about personal branding all the time, actually, because this is what you can get through to your clients when you are marketing around yourself and you are not fearful of what people are going to say about you. You're not letting the tall poppy syndrome get you down at all. So I have to share this slide with you because everybody always asks me this at the end of a presentation. I know they didn't get it if they ask this question. They say, so what are the tips? What's the magic formula? What do I need to know in 2023? You know, what are the, and people buy into courses that are all like how to smash Instagram or how to make perfect reels and explode your business. Like, not one thing is ever going to get you there. Not one platform is going to turn your life on, is light your life on fire. Oh my God, I didn't know it was YouTube all along. Like it's the essence of who you are and working your personal brand. That is what is going to accelerate you and get you more clients. So this is what I tell people. You need to know your audience intimately. You need to know their pain and you need to speak their language in layman's terms. There's no point talking in stuff they don't understand. So you need to speak emotionally with somebody. So if somebody comes to you and they've torn something in their knee, Nina, I think I've got that kind of analogy right. There's no point you explaining it all to them in great layman's terms. They just want to know, when are you going to fix it? When are they going to get out there and be able to compete in their triathlon again? Because that's what lights their soul on fire. You got to speak to them in their language. So your marketing and the way you put your content together has to speak to them in their language. This is the big one. You need to know who you are and why people choose you. Because when you have that information, you can then stop trying to impress every other person on the planet and just go with the people that you know that resonate with you, and it makes it so much easier. The 80-20 rule, where 20% of our actions gets 80% of our results. So if you know the people that you deeply resonate with and who relate to you, then you can spend all of your time working on them and not just hit and miss scattergun approach to everybody. You also need to work on your self-belief like you're a rock star. You need to create awesome content that is valuable, provides massive value, and it changes lives. Like what I said before, if you could, with your content, give tidbits of information away that people can go away and actually implement immediately, and they get a really positive, instant kind of thing back from whatever that is that you gave them with that tip, instantly they're going to be more indebted to you and they're going to trust you, like you, love you. You are going to be the go-to person for them. And you need to have a strategy and a plan and a team in place to help you put that together. And I also added in down the bottom, you need to be consistent. So a very big part of creating content is people, or any kind of marketing where people make a mistake, is that, oh my God, I'm so busy. I'm now not going to market at all. I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to skip that monthly or weekly newsletter. I'm not going to post. I'm just going to forget all about it. I'm not going to make that video. I'm not going to go live. But then in 2 months' time, when it all dries up and you're quiet, then you just like smash the market again. And then you get all the clients come back in. And it's just this weird cycle that people get on all the time. So you do really need to have a strategy and a plan and some kind of marketing assistant that can help you. Marketing assistants don't have to cost a lot. People freak out. I'm not a big fan of going overseas. Some people can make it work, but most people I know in business now, after all these years, still say that their virtual assistant is somebody that they just give really menial functioning tasks to. And these are the people that are going to get replaced by AI, by the way. Like, they'll be able to, AI will definitely be able to do those tasks. But anything that's kind of got, where somebody is writing copy for you on your behalf in your language, or somebody is creating, connections with your audience for you and looking after your marketing, that's somebody that you really want. That's probably more in-house. And they don't have to be a marketing person. Certainly don't have to be a marketing agency. Like, we charge a lot of money for that kind of stuff. Most people don't have that budget. Only bigger companies do. But you can have, and I teach this actually in the Rockstar Personal Branding Academy. I show you how to get a marketing assistant who's like an admin person, and we give you the Canva templates and all of the things put in place that they can then just like copy and paste and put things into and create it for you. As long as they know you and your language, that's the only thing they need to know. And we can coach you and train you on that with all of the weekly sessions that we do with your marketing assistant. So that is the secret formula. And this is just a really cool quote. We are the CEOs of our own companies, Me Inc. To be in business today, our most important job is to be the head marketer for the brand called you. I love that quote. That's why I always insert that. Anybody, whether, even if you're employed by somebody, now here's a really great team of finance people that we did totally rebranded and remarketed their material for them, talk them into a big team shot. I can't tell you how painful that was to try and get them all there. One of the directors refused to be there. He was so intimidated by being on camera. Don't know why. But this stuff can really trigger people. But, when I said to them, you're handling millions and millions and millions of dollars of people's money and companies' money, you need to put a face behind that brand, or a face in front of that brand. And that's no different for your businesses. We have to remember, people, particularly now that we have so much social media and so many people that have only ever grown up with a phone and with social media now in their their sphere, they want to know who you are. There's an expectation. We cannot hide behind the company line anymore. I'm over 50. I remember a time when it was only you trusted big business, big brands, big logos. Who are your clients? And I had all the big clients. Now my passion is actually, I love working with small and medium-sized businesses. I don't really care much for the bigger type of, there's bigger agencies that do that work. I love working with people and having the most impact that way. So it's really knowing who you are and understanding that as small operators, we can have big impact, particularly if you want to own that space as a leader in your industry. And I'm going to cut through in a minute. All right. Content marketing generates 3 times as many leads as traditional outbound marketing, but costs 62% less. I'm going to give you examples where content marketing is done way more than 3 times as many leads and has been way less than 62%, cost a lot less, with some case studies of clients who have done really great. I might flick through because I've got so many slides and so much stuff I want to show you, but of course can't get it all out there. Here's another really great one. 82% of consumers agree that companies have a bigger influence on their buying decisions if the executives, or I'd say the business owners, of those companies have developed personal brands that they can trust and follow. So even bigger companies are having to jump on board now, and they're realizing the power of the personal brand. So as a small business owner, it's actually, that's our sweet spot, is that we are personal and we are able to connect with people. So, Nina, if you're going up against large, I imagine there's large bodies in your industry where they've got like just a whole lot of people working in there. Do you work for yourself, Nina, or are you in a company?
I work for myself.
Okay. And are there like other larger companies that have got like lots of physio type people in there?
Yeah, you could compare it to like going to an Endota spa, but like, because they're a big chain, obviously, of massage.
100%.
Yeah, for me, I focus on dysfunctional movement. So I'm combining the massage and personal training into one session to help with, moving
and
better.
that's your point of difference.
And there's not many people doing that at the moment. So it's, bringing all that.
And so do you talk about that now in your marketing? Do you really hone?
No, God, no.
And well, of course you don't. Thank you for answering. That was very perfect. Why? Let's focus on you for a second. It's more interesting. Why do you think that is? What do you think it is that stops you?
Probably just that I'm a perfectionist, and I think that I don't know enough because there's still always so much stuff to keep learning. But I need to kind of look at it from a point of view of, I do know a lot more than the average person coming in off the street. So I do still have something to share with people and all the time keep learning, but it's just having the belief to do it.
Because we're never ready. We're never, ever ready. So we might as well just start and just keep getting better at what we do. Yeah, I know. That's the best advice. And perfectionism is the best way to mask our lack of self-belief. And when you say to someone you've got a lack of self-belief, it doesn't mean you think you're a loser. Like, I'm sure you've got very healthy self-belief, but we're still in this country. We're still put down in our place, aren't we? It's still... we still like look across and go, that person's got 40 years of experience under their belt and they've worked with all the top triathletes or whatever they've done. And I've just done this. But in actual fact, what you've done is probably incredible and amazing. And you just sit in that space, in that lane, and you just talk to that. You don't have to be the best at everything. You're just the best at what you do. And it sounds like you already know your niche, which is brilliant. A lot of people don't know their niche. And then now you just talk to that and you own that space, So I would say to you, you start a podcast, you have a YouTube channel, you go and speak live, you go to industry associations and put yourself up as a speaker, you joint venture with other people and who are kind of like sideways to you, but not direct competitors, but do, have a similar audience, and do stuff together, whether you put on some kind of like interactive day together, something online, some kind, a masterclass. There's a billion things you can do and ways that you can get in front of people. So yeah, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to introduce you guys to a girlfriend of mine. She's also an incredible business owner. I want to give you a couple of case studies to show you how very normal people, extraordinarily normal people who aren't super cashed up, haven't been given, you know, all this stuff on a silver platter, how they have done incredible things with their businesses through the power of personal branding. So this is Maria Nicola. Has anyone heard of Maria? Have you heard of her, Mel? Oh, okay. She's just done a lot of party plans down this way. She's been in the jewelry game for about 20 odd years. She's been running her own business she's got a thing called a 10-way necklace. It's made out of crystal. She's got one around her neck. It's got all these different strands, and they all latch on together, and they make bracelets, and they make necklaces, and they've got pendants, and they do all these things, and they're whiz bang, and they have 10 different ways, but actually there's heaps more different ways you can put together, and they're magnetized. So when I met her at a business thing, and that was her big product, her big thing. And she talked about this thing. She's highly charismatic, and she did all sorts of stuff. She was doing party planning. She was going and doing high teas. She's going to every single woman's event that you could ever imagine. Whenever she was there, she'd nail it. She'd be the best salesperson on the day, because her sales technique is fantastic, because she's warm and she's bubbly and she knows her audience and she knows what she's doing. She did breakfast TV. She did, like, she was those ad commercial type things. She did Shark Tank. She actually got picked. She was one of, because she's so charismatic, she went on, one of the sharks picked her up, and that didn't turn into anything, but it was unreal. What it did for her personal brand was fantastic. But what it was, and this is why I want to talk to you, is she was perfecting her craft, and she was out there doing it, and she was making a living and stuff, but she wasn't setting the world on fire. But she had, I'm going to say it, shit tons of self-belief. Like, when all of us were just thinking, you know, like, maybe it's just not going to be the big bright future that you think is going to be. This necklace is great, but, you know, like, eventually everyone's going to have one, and that's that. She had so much self-belief, and she kept going at it. She kept perfecting her craft, and she kept trying new things. And one day she was at the Royal Easter Show, and she had a big stand there, and that was a big thing for her. That show made a lot of money for her each year. And when I say a lot of money, like nothing like what she makes now. It was just a good, honest wage for a week's work. And this guy came up to her right at the end, and he said, "I've been watching you." He said, "You're quite good at what you do, aren't you?" And he said, "What do you like at making video?" And she sort of showed him, because she did a bit of video herself on a Facebook and everything. And he said, "Well, I'm a Facebook ads specialist, and I'm really good with people like you. And I think you're a product." He said, "You've got a product, but you're a product." And he said, so they came up with she gets approached all the time for this stuff, by the way, but there was something about this guy, and she believed him. So she gave him a trial run, and they put this thing together, and he did some algorithms with his Facebook ads. But the whole thing was, he used her as the product, and they went out to the right market. They actually discovered they did a lot more work on her target audience. Her target audience, she was going too general and too broad before, so she was never appealing. She was always appealing to everybody, but not specifically like channeling down. So when she figured out that her target audience weren't necessarily Australian, they were probably more like American, and they were women that were in their 50s, kind of lonely, kind of bored, and loved cruising. And she started a Facebook group and invited these women into it. And the thing has just gone gangbusters. It's called the Sparkle Sisterhood. She goes in there 3 times a week, every week. It's like it's like a healing group for all these women that just keep buying her product and refer her on, and brings in more and more business. She does her Facebook ads. She's absolutely exploded. She does YouTube ads as well now too. Her community has just grown massively once she figured out who her audience was, put her at the front unashamedly, and just smashing that market with all the advertising. But also she does a lot of organic content behind it to support it. And she's now in the multi-millions of income every year. And she worked away at it and chipped away at it, and she built this off her personal brand. But she finally found and tapped into the 80-20 rule. She found that 20%, and then she turned that 20%, and she gave that 100% of her efforts. So after all the things that she tried. So why I'm sharing this story is that she's not an overnight success. The business is, I think they're in their 3rd year of great growth. So it is continual. It is just keeping on. And it's a really great story where somebody had a ton of self-belief and kept going and just kept trying and perfecting until they got it right. Now, this is another client of ours. His name is Steve Sid. Do you know him, Mel? Have you ever met Steve anywhere? He's a local guy. I've known Steve for ages, and he'd been a client of mine, then not a client of mine, then a client of mine. Anyway, he came to me 3 years ago now, maybe 3.5 years ago, and he said, I really need to work on my personal brand. He'd lost a ton of weight. He had been inspired by a story I'd put up a couple of years earlier from that about I'd actually lost my husband. He'd had a massive heart attack and he had been obese. And Steve had been inspired by that story. So that was from me with my personal brand, sharing a really personal hardship about mine, but sharing in a way that was inspiring, I guess, to him for other people to please, hey, look after your health. He took that on board, unbeknownst to me, went away and spent a year working on himself and lost 40 kilos. And then when we caught up at a networking event, like you see what I'm talking about with the life-changing? Like, it's just, you never know who you're going to help when you share your personal stories and make them part of your marketing. He came to me and said, I've lost all this weight. I love what you do. I've been watching you, love your message, love what's going on. I want to do personal branding too. He is a chef. He doesn't work as a chef anymore. It's called Catering HQ. He was running a small family restaurant in a club out at Holsworthy, and they were award-winning. They were really good, but he was, again, best kept secret in his industry. So we went in there, we totally just like photographed it, videoed it, got him on video, which is excruciating because he was so nervous and so caught up in himself, but we did it. He did it. And then we coached him a lot with his self-belief because he is a champion bloke. He just needed, a bit like you, Nina, and everybody here, their clients know how great they are, but really shy about telling the rest of the world how great they are. And so when he got over that fear, he took to it like a duck to water. He started doing all of his own socials, and he was doing Facebook Lives and putting up posts. But what really made him catapult his business, he was doing Facebook Lives. He would go with his wife on the weekend, they'd go to the Hunter Valley or go somewhere, and he would just be doing like little exposés about different catering things that he saw and different hospitality things. And he got noticed by somebody that he had pitched 6 months earlier to a tender to go into it was a big group of clubs, and they chose to go with somebody else that was bigger. They said they thought he was too small, thought he was good, but too small. And then when they saw him and his videos that he'd been putting out, they saw the way that he'd revamped his entire image. He'd started calling himself the hospitality entrepreneur. Like, he came up with that himself. I love that. He took on, there's tons of people that do what he does, that run restaurants and cafes, but he took himself on as a leader in the industry. He became the hospitality entrepreneur. He put himself out there on social media and talked about it and showed behind the scenes. He showed his personality. So these people that had overlooked him now looked back at him and they just went, oh, we made a mistake. This guy, he cares. This guy's good. He is exactly what we need to run all of these restaurants in our 4 clubs. So they got him in. He was on holidays in Hawaii. They rang him and they just said, man, we made a mistake. We're so sorry. Can you come in and be operating in our clubs in the next month? So he did. He came back and then implemented all of that. Since then, oh my God, his business is such a success story. He has grown to, that I know of, 11 venues, 25 dining concepts, 30 event spaces, but more. He can do more. He's got over 300 staff. He has also set up his own food logistics company. So now he's got a warehouse, he's got a truck, and he's got people in there, and he's wholesaling in all the food and selling out to other restaurants and cafes. And he's working with a hospitality app that know him personally as well, and like his brand, and are piggybacking off his personal brand to sell their app, and he's bought in with that company. That's what I know what he's up to. Like, God knows this dude, he's so great. He's probably got other stuff going on as well. So this all came from 3.5 years ago. He had one restaurant in one club. He knew he was good, and he is good at what he does, but other people didn't know that he was good because he wasn't letting people know. And that's what having a rockstar personal brand is just letting people know how good you are and what you can do for them. So how can you build up your self-confidence? We were talking about that before. These are a couple of tips. You can build up your confidence. One thing you got to do is you got to learn how to manage your emotions. There's lots of techniques in doing that, but you need to get out of your head. And if you are feeling nervous or worried about something, there's so many good techniques. Like I do all my stuff barefoot. I find myself really grounded. I've got no shoes on right now. I'm always barefoot because it makes me feel grounded. I meditate, I breathe. And the other thing I do is I gather evidence of all of my accomplishments in my head. If I'm feeling that imposter syndrome that we talked about before, I think, right, okay, well, they're really good at what they do over here. We were talking about perfectionism, actually, weren't we, Nina? So It's like, well, actually, but I'm over here and I'm doing this, and this is actually what I'm good at. And then you look at evidence. Well, this is where all these people told me I was really good at that too, actually. That's amazing. You know, I am good at that. You want to look for the bright side and the learning from every situation, even if it's a complete stuff up. You just think, well, what can I learn? What can I do better from this? Keep really positive. Visualizing is a really great way to get confident as well. You can trick your brain. So say you're really nervous about going live on camera. You can trick your brain into believing that you've done it before. And when you've done something before, you know, like your comfort zone is here when it's something new, and you know, as you do it and it becomes bigger and bigger, your comfort zone. But if you actually sit there and you think about, and you visualize yourself making that video, and you're breathing calm, and you think, I'm really calm, I'm making that video, and I'm having fun, and I'm smiling, and I'm laughing, and I'm really engaging, and I'm really enjoying it. And if you're visualizing and feeling all of that energy, your brain believes that's actually the state that you're in when you make a video. So then when you do go to make a video, it is easier for you. Does anybody else use visualizing at all for anything to deal with nerves? I just think I love visualizing. It's one of my favorite. Did you want to say something, Nina?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have started doing it more often these days, actually. Seeing where
Does
I
it
want to
help you?
be. Yeah, it has. And it just helps. Kind of like gets rid of a bit of anxiety type of things, just believing that you've already got it and having that gratitude.
Absolutely. It's just shifting the focus away from I'm nervous to I've done this before. I'm confident. I can do it. I've done this before. I've felt good doing this before. And even though you didn't do it, you're actually just visualizing yourself doing it, but you did it. There's a great story. Alyssa Kaplan. She's the does the aerial in the Winter Olympics. I've got no language around this. If anyone knows, jump in and save me. She does the acrobatic aerial things where they go down the slope and then they launch off and they do this. They sort of go as far as they can and then they come back down to earth and they measure it. I think that's the sport she does. Well, she busted something in her body. I think it was her knee or something. You might know Nina. And she couldn't train. She was, this is years ago there's a big chunk of time where she couldn't train. She was just lying flat in traction for a period. And she was devastated. Like she was so primed, ready for the Winter Olympics. And she has gone on record saying that she visualized it. She spent all of her days in recovery, visualizing each step and each process as it was going, how the wind felt, how sensations on her body felt, how she felt at this point, at that point, and how it felt from her watching herself and herself watching it happening. And then the famous story is that when she was able-bodied and got back out on the slopes, even though she had lost months in training, she went and won the gold medal. I think she was our first gold medal in the Winter Olympics. And she credits a lot of that to visualizing. A lot of athletes swear black and blue by visualizing. We want to have an approach. I talked about this before, the love energy. We don't want to be caught in fear. So fear is nerves, anxiety. I can't. Who am I? I'm hopeless. We don't want any of that rubbish in our minds. We really want to talk about, I've done this before. It's good. They can do it. I can do it. I'm as good as them. You know, really just going soft and gentle on yourself and looking for the good reasons why you can do stuff, why you can brand yourself, why you can put yourself at the front of your company, and surround yourself with really good, positive people. Like if you've got naysayers around you, you've got to really find a way that they are very minimized. They're not a big part of your life. And you've got to really stop caring what others think. So I have been promoting my Rockstar Personal Brand Academy all week. Like I'm making myself, like I've been such a narcissist with it. I'm making myself like cringe at how much stuff I put out there. And somebody really close to me even commented, oh God, there's a whole lot of you out there at the moment. And I'm like, you know, I said to him, well, so unfollow me or just flick past me. Like it's just a week and I know why I'm doing it. And most people don't care. It's just because, you know, he's close that he was commenting. And you just got to like let those people and their naysaying just push it away and stop caring what people think, because you know what you're doing, you know what your focus is, you know what your end goal is, and you know what you have to do. So you have to do it and you have to show up. So if you know, I know that all of you guys could benefit from having a podcast. Your businesses would explode if you had a podcast and you interviewed people, or if you were the star of your own podcast and then you convert that into you have a YouTube channel with video on there and a weekly podcast, and then you put it out as a newsletter, blog post, social media posts, all about this one. It's repurposing your content. Your businesses would explode if you did that. It might not explode next week, but it would if you were consistent and stayed at it. And that's why things don't work for people. What I said before about the big tip for 2023 is you have to be consistent. It's not going to work for you if you just do it haphazardly. People have got way too short attention spans. All right. The other thing that I promised you that I would show you is how to find your purpose. So you can take a screenshot of this if you like. But to find your purpose, it's really important. I think a lot of people aren't quite as connected to themselves as they can be. So know your values and find your purpose is massive, because when you know your purpose, that's another way that you can get over your nerves as well too, because you get out of your own headspace and your own energy, and you are way more in touch with yourself and who you're helping. So you're not thinking about, oh, I'm nervous because who am I to, I've only got 10 years of experience in this. Who am I to say all this? It's like, well, actually, no, I'm helping these businesses who have got this incredible pain, this incredible problem. And this is why I do this. And, you know, I don't care if Joe over there thinks I've made one too many videos. He's not my target audience, and he's not the person I'm helping. The person I'm helping loves this. That's why having your purpose is really important. So these are the questions that you ask yourself. What makes me happy? What am I passionate about? What are my natural talents and skills? What kind of impact do I want to make on the world? And what values are most important to me? You know, what are the deal breakers? And the questions that I find that work really well, which are NLP tools, which I've learned, and I'm an NLP practitioner. If you ever want to do this work one-on-one together and get really deep about this and really connect in, because you've got to get out of your thinking brain and into your subconscious to discover a lot of this stuff. But you can do it for yourself. So I'll give you these tips. So when you say, so what makes me happy? And so you might say, oh, it makes me happy when my clients do really well. So then ask yourself, but why? Well, when my clients do really well, they pay me on time, and that's really good for me. But why? You know, and then keep asking yourself that question. You need to go down deeper, 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 because the first answers are always the superficial answers. It's like, well, when they pay me on time, I can actually afford to do give my kids the extra stuff in life that's really important to them. But why? And you know, do you see what I mean? Then you drill down. Well, actually, when I'm doing that, that actually makes me feel like a great mum, because I'm able to give them these experiences that I never had in my life, and I really want to create a long-lasting legacy of memories in my family that they will grow up in a different supported environment than I did. You go, wow, that's deep. How much deeper is that? Just because you ask yourself, but why, a few times? Because but why gets past that thinking brain and gets down into your subconscious. The other question is, if you hit a stumbling block and you say to yourself, oh, what are my natural talents and skills? And you go, oh, well, I don't know. And then the next thing you ask yourself after that is, but what if you did know? What would your natural talents and skills be? And don't ask me why. There's a scientific reason why, but for some reason that bypasses the thinking brain and it gets back into your subconscious a bit more, because it's almost like you've allowed yourself permission to bypass your modesty about, you know, what are your natural talents and skills, and actually goes, well, actually, I do know I have natural talents and skills, and this is what they are. So remember those two phrases. When you say, I don't know what it is, say, but what would it be if you did know? What would it look like if you did know? And the other one, when you're answering questions on these deeper levels, keep drilling. Don't accept the first two answers. But why? But why? Why is it like that? But why? So they've helped me tremendously in self-awareness and getting down to understanding who I am in business. All right. So I want to quickly show you ChatGPT, because let's escape out of that and let's go. Oh, God, look at me being all efficient. Okay. And no one's tried ChatGPT, have we? Sweet. Okay. So you can see this is it up here, chat.openai.com. You sign in, you just go in and register, and it's free. You don't have to sign up, pay for anything. And then this is a really bland, boring looking kind of screen. It comes up and you've just got like a little thing down here. So let's do it for you, David. Do you want to unmute? Let's use you as our guinea pig. Say you want to write a blog post about something. What's something you'd like to do a little bit of research on and write a blog post for?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Having to do with travel tips. I'm going to help you.
Yeah, it would be something on travel.
Yeah. How about I just say 5 top travel tips for traveling to the Arctic?
Okay. Yeah.
Do you guys go to where do you go to?
The Arctic.
I thought you did, because I remember the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
You type it in and you just ask it, and it'll have a little think, and it will start bringing up 5 top Helpful tips. Basically, it's kind of like Google, but it takes, you know how we go to Google and we research something. I could have typed that into Google and then gone and found a million articles with the answers, and then I could construct something from those answers. This has actually just constructed it for me and given me all the content. The thing is, when you read it, it's informative and it's perhaps even accurate, but it's very vanilla and it's very, very boring. So
It's just factual, yeah.
it's very factual. It doesn't have any essence of you. So this
Yeah.
is what I was saying. It's nothing to fear. So you could actually sort of say to this, you could feed into it, go, thank you. Can we make this more humorous? Oh God, humorous? See what it does. Sure. Okay. And then it will, oh, it's colder than a penguin's toes up in the Arctic. Like, that's ridiculous. But see what I mean? Like, you can give it instructions to make it a little bit more human. You can also feed into it. You can copy and paste one of your articles that you might have written, and you can type in the thing in the style of this article and copy that in. Can you write with this kind of flavor? And then it will do that. It will construct that. So say, yeah. So does that sort of give you a bit of are your minds racing right now about things that you can do? Is there anything that you would like anything that you would ask about this to change it? Because it's almost too funny now. It's a bit silly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's opposite end of the spectrum, isn't there?
Maybe less humor.
Yeah, less humorous.
I love that it talks to you. Like, I'm sorry if the humor wasn't what you were looking for. And so now it's giving you something that is less humor. The way that we can use this is great, but it's just great from a speed point of view. You could have gotten all of this if you went to Google and research, or went to, books or whatever your preferred method is, or podcasts. You could still research and get the info. This is just fast. So I would never copy and paste this word for word, but I would definitely use this as a great starting point and put it in. And the more that you use this, the more that it actually gets to know your style.
Okay.
Yeah. So is there any questions you guys want to ask around that? I mean, this is just one thing, but it's a lot of people get writer's block. A lot of people stumble over how they're going to create content. It really is a problem for them. And this is a really great tool to start with. And it's something, I'm online all the time and I see people go, oh my God, it's, like it's the end of the earth. They're going to take all of our jobs. Soon they're going to be able to punch out. You're going to be able to type in there one day, give me the HTML code and CSS code for blah, 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 blah. And it will just churn out code that works. And it really will do that. And the same thing with accounting, same thing. It's not obviously going to be able to fix people, Nina, but there will be people, like, it's going to fix GPs. It's going to really affect the way that we do our doctor visits and specialist visits. So we'll be able to go and actually do a consultation with AI. But what it never replaces, and I say this all the time, it's artificial intelligence. We're the emotional intelligence. We are what people still connect to. So never forget that and never feel intimidated by this. Just use it for exactly what it should be, which is it's a tool. All right. So I just want to go back. Don't want to play from the start. All right. Go, and I just want to quickly show you. Did anybody want to ask any questions while we're coming up to the end? Because I just wanted to show you quickly about my Rockstar Personal Brand Academy. Real good.
I might say one thing.
Oh yeah.
I find it hard. I find that like my personality is very multi-dimensional. I can be really like woo-woo, like you said. I can be really like crazy, childish, fun, playful. But then I also have a very serious side as well that's like really deep and contemplative. So for me, I find it very difficult to show that, say, on my Instagram, because some people will really resonate with one post, but then I'll still be myself and post something that's completely on the other end. And I find that like people only really will relate to one of the dimensions of me. So then I find that I reckon I lose people when they get the other side of me that they didn't resonate with. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, it does, because I'm the same as you. So I'm
Mm.
going to show you a photo of me, and I skip past this. But this is me last year. I sing in a rock band. I did a body sculpting competition, and I go camping and don't shower for 5 days. And I also run a marketing agency and do marketing coaching. I am so complete, like you, just so multidimensional. And I think we are overthinking it if we think that people are only relating to one part of our personality, not the other. Because I'm also writing a book, and I'm putting out an online course. So I'm a very serious business owner too. So kind of like you, just, I think less about it.
Okay. That's kind of what I'm at. I'm like kind of at that point where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep being me, just try to share myself more, all those different layers. And if it looks like I lose followers because of that post or that post, then it doesn't matter. Then they weren't the followers for me.
Yeah. Okay. So I've sent out an email for the past week. I've sent out like so many more emails than I've ever sent in the past 2 years. And you lose 1% of my followers every time I send out an email. And I just that's okay. You know what? And that used to stop me from sending out emails because I don't want to lose anyone. But the point is, you've lost them anyway. Like, they're not yours. And it's the law of abundance. There's more to come. And if you're actually marketing more to who you, thank you so much for bringing this up. If you're marketing more to who you are and really showing everything about you, everything, like as much as you want to share, you don't have to share everything, but share on the surface level everything about you, what you really are. There are so many people in this world, 8 billion people, that are going to really completely resonate with it. And you can just have your little piece of the market for you that actually really love you and dig you and think you're really fun and really serious. And don't be fearful. Fear versus love. Don't be fearful of what you're going to lose. Think about what you're going to gain, because you're actually now resonating with people as who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
With that bodybuilding thing, that was hard. I put up those photos. I'm 51. And you can see I had damage.
Good.
Wow, I was skinny. I had damage on my stomach, but I decided I was one of the oldest people in the competition. I was the only person in my age group, so I won, but I was the only person in my age group. But I shared that story. I shared a lot of that story, and so many people love that journey. Serious business owners, people that I really connected with, who really loved the story and they really respected what it took to get there. That was what they got from the story. Not that I was parading around in a bikini, but it's like, wow, you worked hard, your discipline, your commitment. That's what they took from it. So even when somebody could think, oh, that's superficial, she's gone in a bikini competition. Anybody that read any of my posts about it understood it was not just a bikini competition. It was a real coming of age, literally coming of middle age story. And there's a lot more stories in that, and I made that story and I shared it and inspired a lot more people. So think about if inspiration is one of your values, which it is for me with Life Changing, think about how you can inspire people.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't want to take up much more of your time, because I know we've gone over time. This is what I have open. It is an online course. You can work with me one-to-one. That can get quite expensive. That can cost like anywhere, is it like $1,500 a month to work with me one-to-one as a coaching client? Or if you come into the Personal Branding Academy, it's actually $297 a month, or you can join up for less. I think it's $2,997 for a year. And then you get 8 modules. So let me run through it quickly. You get 8 modules with 60 videos, weekly accountability coaching, very much exactly in this style, where I'll do half an hour of coaching and talking around what we learn in that module. Then we'll do half an hour of Q&A. That goes for the 8 weeks. And then you also get into, I've got a self-confidence and a video course coming out. You get that for free. We do a marketing strategy half day, which we're going to be doing next Tuesday, where we put together your marketing strategy and your action plan. And David's actually done one of these with me as a one-to-one client. So they're highly valuable documents, which are really like the roadmap for your business for the next 12 to 18 months or 12 to 24 months. And then after that, you join the Content Creator Club over here, which you don't pay anything for. You're in that for free for 12 months. And then that meets up every Tuesday at 9 a.m. And we do exactly a session like this, an hour session like this, where you'll get content for half an hour and a Q&A where you can talk, ask questions. So it's kind of like, it's like knowledge, expertise, accountability. We will do one session a month where we just talk purely about self-belief, and I will pick people out, whoever volunteer, put their hand up, and I'll actually run an exercise with you, like whether we clear energy or whether we work on a self-limiting belief that you have. And if you join up after this, because we close tomorrow, so if you join up between now and tomorrow, either one of them, whether you join up with the Content Creator Club or the Rockstar Personal Branding, you get a 1-hour personal consultation with me, which I'll just do for free. And we can just do exactly this session. You can talk to me, and I'm happy to do energy clearings or the NLP stuff, or just talk to you about your strategy and what's a really good way forward for you, really help you out with your content for the next however long. And understand, I think the most important thing you can learn in all of this is who you are. Really learn who you are, how you resonate with your audience, and learn who your audience is, and tap into their pain points and how's the best way to get to that. So then when you're acting in integrity like that, you actually are going to, everything else kind of just falls into place, because it feels like you can't go wrong. There's nothing you can do that can go wrong, because you know yourself so well and you know your audience so well. You can only help them and enhance their life, and that can only, with the law of reciprocity can only come back to you. So I'll sign off there. If anybody has any questions, I'm super happy just to hang around and chat. You got me for free, so yeah.